Hey, good morning, y'all. I wanted to make this video because I believe that Obama was confessing his guilt when he gave this speech. Of course, it's a lot of humor, but some say that that humor is laced with truth. There's a little bit of truth in the humor. So I am going to watch this speech and analyze it, try to interpret it, and I'm going to be doing it from try to focus on the rhetoric, the wording, and I'm going to try to maintain the foundation of my Holy Bible and focus on principles. But long story short, I believe that Obama confesses his guilt. So this is his last White House Correspondents dinner, guys, and this is on Global News. I don't know if you can read that, but it says Global News Network. So keep that in mind.
You can't say it, but you know it's true. Good evening, everybody.
It's going to be a lot of, man, you'll see what I'm talking about. Look.
It is an honor to be here at my last, and perhaps the last, White House Correspondents' Dinner.
The last White House Correspondents' Dinner. The last.
You all look great. The end of the Republic has never looked better.
He just started. 34 seconds in. The end of the Republic. Whoa. He's going in hard.
I do apologize. I know I was a little late tonight. I was running on CPT.
CPT? Oh my God.
Which stands for jokes that white people should not make.
So there we go. We got the race baiting. It's starting. It's beginning. Now he's setting up, okay? So you're like, what? Why is he doing this? He's setting up a premise for the rest of his speech.
Tip for you, Jeff.
Oh.
Anyway, here we are. My 8th and final appearance at this unique event. And I am excited. If this material works well, I'm going to use it at Goldman Sachs next year.
Pay attention to his body language, how he looks around. Goldman Sachs, keep that name in mind. If the material works well. Oh my goodness.
Earned me some serious Tubmans.
Oh my goodness.
That's right.
You heard him. You heard him.
My brilliant and beautiful wife, Michelle, is here tonight. She looks so happy to be here. It's called practice. It's like learning to do 3-minute planks. She makes it look easy now, but next year at this time, someone else will be standing here in this very spot, and it's anyone's guess who she will be. But
Who she will be. So as I was telling you, he's setting up the premise, and he's continuing to set it up, but he's setting up his support for Hillary Clinton. If you want to, you can look into her religion. I'll just put that out there. It's up to you.
But standing here, I can't help but be reflective, a little sentimental. 8 years ago, I said it was time to change the tone of our politics. In hindsight, I clearly should have been more specific.
So he's basically saying, I bring the confusion. I wanted to change the tone of our politics, but it led to a lot of confusion. One could infer that he purposely created all this, confusion, or, it just happened.
8 years ago, I was a young man, full of idealism and vigor. And look at me now. I am gray, grizzled, counting down the days till my death panel.
Uh-oh, he said death panel. Yeah, I know this is humor and stuff, but some people say, that there's a little bit of truth in these jokes. Or in humor. There's a little bit of truth in humor. That's all I'll say about that. Death panel.
Hillary once questioned whether I'd be ready for a 3 a.m. phone call. Now I'm awake anyway because I got to go to the bathroom.
3 a.m. phone call. 3 a.m. is the witch's hour. Anybody who may be religious, it's the witch's hour. Satanic religion.
In fact, somebody recently said to me, Mr. President, you are so yesterday. Justin Trudeau has completely replaced you. He's so handsome. He's so charming. He's the future. And I said, Justin, just give it a rest.
Pride, selfishness.
I resented that. Meanwhile, Michelle has not aged a day.
Pay attention to all these faces you see here.
Her in photos is by looking at me. Take a look. Here we are in 2008. Here we are a few years later. And this one is from 2 weeks ago.
Uh-oh. Obama's the walking dead now. I'm going to call Obama Skeletor.
So time passes. Just 6 short months, I will be officially a lame duck. Which means Congress now will flat out reject my authority. And Republican leaders won't take my phone calls. And this is going to take some getting used to. It's really it's a curveball. I don't know what to do with it.
Well, one thing that you did do, Obama, is you made sure to start working for Netflix and become a producer and an actor. And I think Netflix has been discovered, putting out some programs that may have been anti-Israel and may have been pro-pedophilia. I don't know all the details, but, other people can look into that. So that's one way that you can continue your influence, Obama. Also, like you giving that speech in South Africa, there's another way.
Of course, in fact, 4 months now, congressional Republicans have been saying there are things I cannot do in my final year. Unfortunately, this dinner was not one of them. But on everything else, it's another story. And you know who you are, Republicans. In fact, I think we've got Republican Senators Tim Scott.
Here we go with the politics.
And Cory Gardner. They're in the House, which reminds me, security, bar the doors.
Remember these faces.
Judge Merrick Garland, come on out. We're going to do this right here, right now.
You gonna run a trial in the middle of a correspondence dinner speech?
Not just Congress. Even some foreign leaders, they've been looking ahead, anticipating my departure. Last week, Prince George showed up to our meeting in his bathrobe.
Prince George bathrobe.
That was a slap in the face.
Slap in the face. Obama's making homosexual remarks. He's hinting maybe he might
breach of protocol.
Breach of protocol?
Although
everybody's like, ugh, nasty.
I did have lunch with Her Majesty the Queen. Took in a performance of Shakespeare. Hit the links with David Cameron. Just in case anybody is still debating whether I'm black enough. I think that settles the debate.
So, he's basically saying, look, if you think I'm black, I'm not black. I identify more with being white. So just let that sink in. He's so goofy. More of this race baiting crap.
I won't lie. Look, this is a tough transition. It's hard. Key staff are now starting to leave the White House. Even reporters have left me. Savannah Guthrie, she's left the White House press corps to host the Today Show. Nora O'Donnell left the briefing room to host CBS This Morning. Jake Tapper left journalism to join CNN.
So he's actually saying that the people in the Obama administration are leaving, or the people in politics are leaving, and they're actually gaining jobs in these very news networks that are pushing about 90% negative coverage of Trump. Yeah, I'm going to connect the dots for everybody. I don't mind. And don't give me the credit. Give it to God, all right? And then Jake Tapper left to go work for CNN. So he's alluding to CNN might be, propaganda network. Not really journalism, not really news. Forget Jake Tapper. He's a little embarrassed.
But the prospect of leaving the White House is a mixed bag. You might have heard that someone jumped the White House fence last week, but I have to give Secret Service credit. They found Michelle, brought her back. She's safe. She's safe back at home now.
Call Michelle an animal. I'm crazy.
It's only 9 more months, baby. Settle down. And yet somehow, despite all this, despite the churn, in my final year...
Despite the churning, and I'm just going to interpret that as like spin. With all the spinning that's going on,
my approval ratings keep going up.
So as Dave Chappelle said, we live in the age of spin. And in the age of spin, Obama's approval ratings keep going up.
The last time I was this high, I was trying to decide on my major.
Obama smokes weed, or he smoked weed.
And here's the thing, I haven't really done anything differently. So it's odd. Even my aides can't explain the rising poll numbers. What has changed? Nobody can figure it out.
So there you go. More, attacking the Republicans. There's Ted Cruz, really devout Republican, pretty decent dude for Texas. And then there's Donald Trump, and you can see he goes out of his way to get the crappiest picture he could find of Donald Trump. So he's basically saying, my approval ratings are going up because of this.
Anyway, in this last year, I do have more appreciation for those who've been with me on this amazing ride. Like one of our finest public servants, Joe Biden. God bless him. Love that guy.
Which God do you serve,
I love
Obama?
Joe Biden. I really do.
Who you serve?
I want to thank him for his friendship, for his counsel, for always
Creepy
giving it to
Joe?
me straight, for not shooting anybody in the face.
Are you alluding that creepy Uncle Joe is a gangster?
Thank you, Joe.
Shoot him in the face, huh?
Also, I would be remiss. Let's give it up for our host, Larry Wilmore.
He's the host.
Also known as one of the two black guys who's not Jon Stewart. You're the South.
Pay close attention here. He is the host.
African guy, right?
South African guy. South African guy. Current day, South Africa committing white genocide against farmers. Let's go back a little.
Also, I would be remiss. Let's give it up for our host, Larry Wilmore. Also known as one of the two black guys who's not Jon Stewart. You're the South African guy, right? I love Larry.
South Africa, guys.
We're from Evans, which is
Just
a great town.
hints. Just hints.
I also would like to acknowledge some of the award-winning reporters that we have with us here tonight. Rachel McAdams, Mark Ruffalo, Leah Schreiber. Thank you all for everything that you've done. I'm just joking. As you know, Spotlight is a film, a movie, about investigative journalists with the resources and the autonomy to chase down the truth and hold the powerful accountable. Best fantasy film since Star Wars.
Bam. So there we go right there. He's telling a little joke, but, he's saying, ever since Star Wars, our investigative journalists, they ain't going out here chasing down the truth. They're not going out here holding people accountable. That's a fantasy tale at this point in history.
Look, that was maybe a cheap shot. I understand the news business is tough these days. It keeps changing all the time.
Change.
Every year at this dinner,
Keyword
makes
change.
A joke about BuzzFeed, for example, changing the media landscape. And every year the Washington Post laughs a little bit less hard. It's kind of a silence there. Especially at the Washington Post table. GOP Chairman Reince Priebus is here as well. Glad to see that you feel that you've earned a night off. Congratulations on all your success. The Republican Party, the nomination process, it's all going great. Keep it up.
You earned the night off. I sense a little bit of condescension in that, maybe.
Kendall Jenner is also here. And we had a chance to meet her backstage. She seems like a very nice young woman. I'm not exactly sure what she does, but I am told that my Twitter mentions are about to go through the roof.
So now Obama, he's about to get help with more influence.
Helen Mirren is here tonight.
People in Hollywood are going to help Obama gain more influence.
I don't even have a joke here. I just think Helen Mirren is awesome. Wow. She's awesome. Sitting at the same table, I see Mike Bloomberg. Mike, a combative, controversial New York billionaire, is leading the GOP primary, and it is not you. That That has to sting a little bit.
There he goes hitting on Donald Trump again.
Although it's not an entirely fair comparison between you and the Donald. After all, Mike was a big city mayor. He knows policy in depth. And he's actually worth the amount of money that he says he is.
So he's saying that Donald Trump's a liar, he ain't worth nothing. Donald Trump has zero integrity.
What an election season. For example, we've got the bright new face of the Democratic Party here tonight, Mr. Bernie Sanders.
There's Bernie.
Bernie, you look like $1 million. Or to put it in terms you'll understand, you look like 37,000 donations of $27 each.
So Obama is alluding that Bernie has influence particularly in the, middle class to lower class voters. He's highlighting Bernie's influence. The demographics, too, of his influence. But there's a reason for it. He'll say why right here.
A lot of folks have been surprised by the Bernie phenomenon, especially his appeal to young people, but not me. Just recently, a young person came up to me and said she was sick of politicians standing in the way of her dreams. As if we were actually going to let Malia go to Burning Man this year. Was not going to happen. Bernie might have let her go. Not us.
Bernie might have let her go, but not us. So now he's highlighting the differences between him and Bernie. And you heard a little bit of the ooh in the background. That was a little bit below the belt, Obama. There's a reason he's building this up.
I am hurt, though, Bernie, that you've been distancing yourself a little from me.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's just not something that you do to your comrade.
Ha 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 ha. Comrade. Ha 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 ha. Russia. Ha ha ha. Remember what happened to Bernie Sanders during the election? Some say that Bernie Sanders got screwed over, and Hillary Clinton stole the win in the DNC from Bernie. That's just what some people say. But everybody else, y'all can look into that if you want. Comrade. You get the word comrade? Oh, I got a kick out of that one. Look at them. Everybody's still laughing. Comrade.
Bernie's slogan has helped his campaign catch fire among young people. Feel the burn. Feel the burn.
Feel, emotion,
That's
burn.
a good slogan. Hillary's slogan has not had the same effect. Let's see this.
We got these catchphrases. Trudge up the hill. So it basically it's to say, look, you suck on your message, but the appeal is that you're taking on like this Herculean task, and that whole pushing the rock up the hill type of thing. It's like establishing, hey, you're a good chick, you're a good woman that works hard. Your message kind of sucks. He's bolstering his support for Hillary Clinton.
Look, I've said how much I admire Hillary's toughness, her smarts, her policy chops, her experience. You've got to admit it, though. Hillary trying to appeal to young voters is a little bit like your relative who just signed up for Facebook. Dear America, did you get my poke? Is it appearing on your wall? I'm not sure I'm using this right. Well, and Hillary.
So Obama is hinting that he's worried that Hillary's going to lose because she can't reach the younger people, the younger audience.
Meanwhile, On the Republican side, things are a little more, how shall we say this, a little more loose. Just look at the confusion over the invitations to tonight's dinner. Guests were asked to check whether they wanted steak or fish, but instead, a whole bunch of you wrote in Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan.
That's not an option, people. Steak or fish.
I think he's Speaker of the House. So, I mean, that's terrible, but I think this kind of highlights like the intensity of I guess maybe hatred or contempt. You know what I mean? That they have for the Republican Speaker of the House. Just eat his ass. It's terrible.
You may not like steak or fish, but that's your choice.
It's terrible.
Meanwhile, some candidates aren't polling high enough to qualify for their own joke tonight.
I wonder if Paul Ryan's compromised. Jeez. Here we go again.
The rules were well established ahead of time.
Global news.
And then there's Ted Cruz. Ted had a tough week. He went to Indiana, Hoosier country, stood on a basketball court, and called the hoop a basketball ring.
It's a little bit of race baiting right here. You know, black people love basketball. It's a lot of fun. He's trying to like draw a disconnect between the black voters and
baseball sticks.
You know, politician. Baseball sticks.
Football hats.
Football hats. Haha.
But sure, I'm the foreign one.
So Ted Cruz, you know, he's saying he's an illegal. Oh no.
Well, let me conclude tonight on a more serious note. I want to thank the Washington Press Corps. I want to thank Carol for all that you do. The free press is central to our democracy, and nah, I'm just kidding. You know I've got to talk about Trump. Come on.
All right, there you go. Free press is central to our democracy. Just kidding. Come on.
We weren't just going to stop there.
Come on, man.
Come on.
Pay attention, y'all. Y'all ain't listening to me. No free press, huh?
Although I am a little hurt that he's not here tonight.
Biased, man.
We had so much fun the last time. And it is surprising. You've got a room full of reporters, celebrities, cameras, and he says no.
Well, there you go. So now we know who Obama, you know, chose, who Obama, you know, I guess invited, or his host from South Africa, you know, ha ha ha, let's joke, I guess, whatever. But his host from, or at the whole party, and they have majority what? Celebrities, majority cameras, majority reporters. Think about that, y'all.
Is this dinner too tacky for the Donald? What could he possibly be doing instead? Is he at home, eating a Trump steak? Tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel? What's he doing?
Angela Merkel like she's a victim. Pay attention, y'all. Crap. I'm kind of bad with faces, but I think there's April Ryan from CNN. That looks like Omarosa, and that's front and center. But everybody's so surprised about what happened with Omarosa. Right? 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 I'm not surprised. But everybody else is, right? Because I saw this a long time ago. That might not be Omarosa. I don't know. Or Omarosa.
The Republican establishment is incredulous that he's their most likely nominee. Incredulous. Shocking.
Oh, Lord.
They say Donald lacks the foreign policy experience to be president. But in fairness, he has spent years meeting with leaders from around the world. Miss Sweden, Miss Argentina, Miss Azerbaijan.
Obama is highlighting, Obama is a cheater. Or not Obama. Obama is saying Donald's a cheater and
And
cutting
there's
down
one
his
area
character.
where Donald's experience could be invaluable, and that's
Lacks
closing
experience.
Guantanamo. Because Trump knows a thing or two about running waterfront properties into the ground.
Yeah, he going way below the belt there.
All right, that's probably enough. I mean, I've got more material. No.
They're cheering him on. Come on, keep talking crap about Donald Trump.
Following your lead, I want to show some restraint. Because I think we can all agree that from the start,
What came first, Obama, the chicken or the egg? Because last time I checked, it was the egg. And last time I checked, you already insulted Donald Trump. So what you restraining?
gotten the appropriate amount of coverage, befitting the seriousness of his candidacy. I hope y'all are proud of yourself. The guy wanted to give his hotel business a boost, and now we're praying that Cleveland makes it through July.
So much for restraint.
As for me and Michelle, we've decided to stay in D.C. for a couple more years. Thank you. This way, our youngest daughter can finish up high school. Michelle can stay closer to her plot of carrots. She's already making plans to see them every day. Take a look.
Look at the appeal. So this, hate to say it, but this kind of makes Michelle look like a spy, like an infiltrator, because I always see that type of setup, I guess, with like Mission Impossible or when you're trying to like rob a bank and you can't touch the floor because there's lasers, so one could infer, such a thing, possibly.
But our decision has actually presented a bit of a dilemma because traditionally presidents don't stick around after they're done. And it's something that I've been brooding about a little bit. Take a look.
The Obamas are staying in D.C. for 2 years after the president leaves office.
He's about to go from commander-in-chief to
Pay attention to who's doing these reports.
Chuck Todd, what am I going to do in D.C. for 2 years?
Got a real dilemma, Mr. President.
I can't go every day, can I?
So which you like better, these or these?
Joe, they're the same.
Capture different moods.
Joe, I need some focus here.
Kind of nervous. Maybe at a time thinks everything.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I said, Mr. President, you have to be practical. And look, you can drive again. You're going to need a license.
So Joe Biden, I guess, comes off as emotional, distracted, and Obama's coming off as logical and focused. I see a dichotomy set up. Well, maybe.
Love sports. Why don't you volunteer to work for one of the teams around here?
Is this the Washington Wizards? I understand you're looking for some coaching help. Let's just say I coached my daughter's team a few times. Hello? Hello? Fine. So I'm going to be in D.C. for a while, and I thought I'd take up driving again.
What's the name?
Barack Hussein Obama.
One could infer that Obama setting himself up to look like, to achieve a moral high ground by playing victim. And remember, this is just, this is all just acting. None of this is real. It's just a, little story.
Well, since you don't have a driver's license, you're going to need a birth certificate.
Really?
Really.
It's real.
Is it?
It's real.
But is it?
Oh, Michelle left her phone.
It's terrible, man.
Huh. He's got Snapchat. Obamacare is great, and it's really working. Sign up now. Breaking news.
This is
Michelle Obama
terrible.
in hot water after
Everybody, remember about Obamacare and how it helped us, right? Wrong. It didn't help us a lot, but look at this part.
posting this video
That part.
earlier today. Obamacare is great, and it's really working. Sign up now.
Wow. Wow.
No?
No.
Did you get a lot of views?
Honey, enough. Why don't you
Obamacare destroyed a lot of the job market. Ask small business owners, big business owners. Obamacare messed up our free market healthcare that I remember my parents having when I was a kid. The quality of healthcare was much better. You didn't have to spend so much money on top of that. And you could be a regular, hardworking American climbing the ladder. You didn't have to be super classy or have a PhD or a doctorate to have decent health insurance. So thanks a lot, Obamacare.
just talk to somebody who's been through this? I gotta go to Soul Cycle.
She's right. I know who I need to talk to. Hey, it's Barack. Listen, can we get together? Now that is a great one. Yeah.
Terrible. Toy Story. There's only a couple things I'm gonna say about this. I doubt anybody will understand, but maybe someone will. Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond. To infinity and beyond. Pay attention to the angles coming in. So basically, like the angle goes like this, and then they're the flat angle. These two people taking it in. It's the box.
You got any advice for me? So now you want my advice? First, stop sending me all these LinkedIn requests. And second, here's the beauty of this whole thing. You've got all the time in the world to figure this out. You can just be you for a while. If you know how to do that again. So I can just be me. And I can wear my mom jeans in peace. I hate these tight jeans. They're good. Yesterday, I had a beer at 11:30 in the morning. And you know, McDonald's now serves breakfast all day long. You know, Michelle's going to be at spin class, so she'll never know. All right, let it go. You know, it won't be long. You'll be able to walk right out of the Oval Office singing zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. And you have plenty of time to work on your tan. And you know what? I finally got the grand bargain on a sweet Chevy.
Sounds a little bit of a stretch, but I want to put in an abstract thought really quick. Those shades, those glasses that are put on, they represent having a certain type of perception towards the world. So as they're all walking out of the Oval Office, the camera zooming out, whatever, it looks like they're coming out, but they're all wearing the same shade. So one could infer that they're developing the same perception, same team, something like that, maybe.
Awesome.
I thought that was the chick that didn't want to give him
Look here.
driver's license. Temptation right there. CNN.
Round of golf for the year, and it's totally great. And Gloria, not a problem for Eddie.
It's a lot of golf.
I can't think of a reason to care, Wolf. And believe me, I tried.
Couch commander. So, doesn't call himself president. Couch commander. There's so much I could say about this, but I don't know how to put it into words or whatever. But I hypothesize that you cannot serve two masters at once, and I kind of agree with Kanye West's. There's two motivational forces, and what do you think Obama's motivational force is? Obama the commander.
There you go.
key motivational forces in the universe.
I am still waiting for all of you to respond to my invitation to connect to LinkedIn. But I know you have jobs to do, which is what really brings us here tonight. I know that there are times that we've had differences, and that's inherent in our institutional roles. It's true of every president and his press corps. But we've always shared the same goal.
Differences.
To root our public discourse in the truth. To open the doors of this democracy. To do what?
So, he defines truth, conflating it into democracy. But we are a constitutional republic. Did y'all catch that?
Whatever we can to make our country and our world more free and more just.
Free
and I've
and
always
just.
appreciated the role that you have all played.
Free and just. So if you have too much freedom, it can be abused, and it'll lead to, judgment.
As equal partners in reaching these goals. Our free press is why we once again recognize the real journalists who uncover the horrifying scandal and brought some measure of justice for thousands of victims throughout the world. They are here with us tonight. Sasha Pfeiffer, Mike Resendez, Walter Robinson, Matt Carroll, and Bed Brandley Jr. Please give them a big round of applause.
Look, there's Whoopi Goldberg. Remember what happened in The View? So he's playing up the press again.
Our free press is why
That 90% negative coverage of Trump. Free press.
Resign, as Carol noted. Last time this year we spoke of Jason's courage as he endured
Look at the faces, y'all.
Iranian prison. This year we see that courage in the flesh, and it's a living testament to the very idea of the free press, and a reminder of the rising level of danger and political intimidation and physical threats faced by reporters overseas. And I can make this commitment that as long as I hold this office, my administration will continue to fight for the release of American journalists held against their will, and we will not stop until they see the same freedom as Jason had.
I appreciate you doing that, Obama. Hold on one second. I appreciate you doing that for the journalist, Obama, but why not other Americans?
At home and abroad, journalists, like all of you, engage in the dogged pursuit of informing citizens and holding leaders accountable and making our government of the people possible.
But Obama, you were just saying that was a fantasy tale. They're not trying to hold people accountable and be truthful. Remember, it's a fantasy tale since Star Wars.
And it's an enormous responsibility. And I realize it's an enormous challenge at a time when the economics of the business sometimes incentivize speed over depth, and when controversy and conflict are what most immediately attract readers and viewers.
The media is becoming superficial.
There's so many of you that are pushing against.
There are economic incentives for it.
And as a citizen of this great democracy, I am grateful for that. For this is also a time around the world when some of the fundamental ideals of liberal democracies are under attack, and when notions of objectivity and of a free press and of facts and of evidence.
Notions of objectivity. I believe that there is an objective morality, and I guess you believe that everything is subjective, Obama. Did anybody else infer that? That's what I infer.
Are trying to be undermined, or in some cases ignored entirely. And in such a climate, it's not enough just to give people a megaphone. That's why your power, your responsibility to dig and to question and to counter distortions and untruths is more important than ever. Taking a
Obama, you just
stand
said
on
that's a
behalf of what is
fantasy.
true does
It's in
not
Star
require
Wars.
you shedding your objectivity. In fact, it is the essence of good journalism. It affirms the idea that the only way we can build consensus, the only way that we can move forward as a country, the only way we can help the world mend itself is by agreeing on a baseline of facts when it comes to the challenges that confront us all. So this night is a testament to all of you.
We must agree on a baseline of facts. So we must all hold the same foundation. Okay, something like that maybe? Or we must all believe in the same thing. Not everybody believes in a God, that's for sure.
You who've devoted your lives to that idea, who push to shine a light on the truth every single day. So I want to close my final White House Correspondents' Dinner by just saying thank you. I'm very proud of what you've done. It has been an honor and a privilege to work side by side with you to strengthen our democracy. And with that, I just have two more words to say. Obama out.
Obama out. So it's like the couch commander out. Kind of like a military sort of perspective or militant, whatever. Alrighty, so there you go. That's my perspective of all that. And I just think that Obama basically was confessing what he was up to before these things have happened. Please look up Judicial Watch. Please look up into the facts and the evidence of what's currently going on. What do you think? You know, some people say that 2020 is hindsight, but Christians are the #1 persecuted in the world right now. And it's not very often that I've seen people appreciate decent, good people with true integrity. And those people that are like that, you're part of the problem. So I hope y'all really enjoyed this. Take into account, you know, what happened back then and where we are now. Compare the two. Do you think there may be a pattern? I think so. But I'm just a regular old guy. I'm a nobody. So I'll let y'all decide. But God bless you. Have a good day. Please like, subscribe. And I'll see y'all again. Take care.